The following is an interesting clip that has been uploaded by StayRB to the paranormal section of Reddit. The user states that he grew up around his grandparents, who were the owners of a local pub. People always said that this pub was haunted, and some even stated that they saw ghosts in there themselves. Today, RB is sharing a short clip that he could get from the camera of the place. He states, "This is a small clip I have on my phone from the pub's camera. It's showing the man who used to follow me in my grandparents' pub." My grandma always said the pub was haunted, so I'm going with ghost. No one else would have been there at the time in the morning. We can see somebody peeking around the corner here. Pretty creepy, to be honest. His family does believe that this was indeed a paranormal encounter. Of course, there's no proof for this claim. Maybe it was just a creepy guy. But why would anybody do this if it wasn't a staged incident, of course? Who can say? Angie has shared the following recording. She states that her uncle is currently working at the infamous Cecil Hotel. As many of you know, many tragic events have unfolded in there. Her uncle found the following quite unusual. Nobody else but him was walking on that floor at that time. And it was closed due to the renovation work. People speculated that it might have been poltergeist activity that was moving the doors here. Maybe a former resident that didn't appreciate the renovation work. If it wasn't staged, what else could this have been? The next clip was shared by the Asian channel Rec, and apparently a CCTV security camera in the home of a family caught a really odd reflection. They always thought that there was some otherworldly stuff going on, and then a mirror reflection piqued their interest even more. Let's see.
在所有的外部条件都没有变化的情况下，这个影子忽然就静止不动了，这就非常的不可思议。
Oh. So we see the woman reflecting in there, but the reflection is completely different. That's strange. What? What could be causing this, in your opinion? I mean, could this just be the camera lagging behind some frames? Oh, is this of paranormal nature? I'm always a little bit skeptical with mirror reflections like that, right? But I couldn't fully explain it because nothing else seems to be off in this recording except... So... Huh. That's a tough one. This is an eerie investigation video, which was forwarded to me by Zodiac. The story goes that two friends were exploring a supposedly haunted building one day, which was visited by the ghost of a lady once in a while. Why, however, is not exactly known. Well, as they are walking through the ruins of this former place, the cameraman captures something on his device that shouldn't have been there, and he didn't realize it at first. Was it perhaps the spirit of the lady that was lingering and waiting for the two? Or is this just a spooky hoax? It was sent by Annabelle, and she states that she found it on the website of Point Paranormal, who were holding an investigation in the home of user Jaybird, who's living in a supposedly haunted apartment. He can hear strange noises in the nights, and even documented shadow sightings. The team from Point Paranormal installed a camera in his bedroom that night to capture anything strange that might occur. And after Jaybird went to bed, there is a really odd capture indeed. Something is pulling the blanket off of him. While he attempts to pull it back up, there's something else going with the blanket. Take a good look. Is it possibly an arm belonging to an apparition that's pulling that blanket? Really hard to make out, since the resolution is not the best. And just a couple of minutes after that, the blanket is being pulled again. In this case, it's a bit more easy to make out a shape that seemingly manifests its whole upper torso and that keeps dragging the blanket. Really a fascinating capture. What's your explanation for this incident? The team from Point Paranormal and Jaybird himself is sure that they could capture a paranormal incident here. Could that be so? This is a recording from user Short and Stout Guy, who on his channel is sharing quite a few paranormal investigations that can be described as quite intriguing. This night he had received a stationary CCTV recording from a client of his. He states, in this case the owners had reported a small child-sized entity that would at times pick out at them from around the corner down the hallway. The group had set up its base at the end of this hallway to the left. If you watch the doorway at the end of the hall, the night vision camera recorded what appears to be a dark shape that forms and leans out to take a look down at the team and then pulls back in. Is it an entity? The camera is not the best, which is why it's pretty hard to make out facial features, but it is undeniable that something was peeking out the doorway here. Was it paranormal or something else? You decide. Flipping Fanny Fluthers has shared a video on her TikTok that apparently shows a paranormal manifestation in her mirror. She has shared it several times because she felt it didn't get the recognition it deserved. Well, let's help her with that. In general, she mostly posts entertaining songs and dances, so a serious ghost video is a bit out of her forte. Let's see. I do actually agree. A shadow seems to be appearing from the right and then appearing in the mirror. What do you think? Is it a paranormal shadow apparition or just a hoax? Next up, we are going to be looking into the haunting of Hola Peter. Peter and his brother had been spending some time at their great-grandparents' house when suddenly the power went out for no logical reasoning. Their mother and grandmother leave briefly to go buy some candles at the gas station nearby, leaving the boys alone. Strange activity had been experienced in the house before, and it was believed by the family that there was at least one spirit inhabiting the home. Potentially the spirit of the great-grandfather that sadly had passed away. Peter decides to start filming around the dark house while his parents are away. The boys head to the terrace in the back of the house to use the washroom. And this is when they first encounter something possibly paranormal.
Y pues estamos aquí, esas son las... Mi abuelito, espérense, no sean chillones, no va a pasar nada. Y esas son las cenizas de mi bisabuelo, porque pues desgraciadamente él ya falleció. Y el baño está allá, el baño, mi hermano quiere hacer pipí, pero el baño está allá. Y mi abuela nos dijo que cuidáramos... Mi abuelo nos dijo que cuidáramos aquí su casa en lo que ellas iban.
A dark shadow is seen moving quickly out of sight, as though it is hiding from the two boys. The next video was also filmed at Peter's great-grandparents' house. This time, the boys noticed some loud banging and strange noises coming from the roof of the house. And so, they went outside to try and capture whatever was responsible for all the noise. Let's take a look at what was captured.
Ay, no puede ser.
Loud banging and strange scratching noises can be heard from above Peter, and when he aims the camera to the right, a dark shadow can be seen moving across the roof. Could this be the same shadow figure seen in the first video?
No sabemos. Y pues... No tengan miedo. No pasa nada. Abuelito, si estás aquí, preséntate. Si estás aquí, preséntate ante nosotros. Somos tus nietos.
Peter actually tries to interact with the entity, inviting it to present itself to him, but he may actually get more than he bargained for. Viewers have said that the energy in this video is very negative, and many do not believe this to be the great-grandfathers. They also believe this entity might be taking advantage of the fact that there were no adults present, as many demons have been known to connect first with children and using that to get to the adults in the family. But what do you think? Has Peter truly captured something paranormal in these videos? The following video was shared by Felimundo, and he tells us that he had captured it via Snapchat to share it with a bunch of his friends. Apparently, the young man was standing in front of his aunt's house in Gainesville, Florida, to smoke a cigarette at around 7 a.m. in the morning. He then noticed a strange reflection in the door right across from him. The interesting part about that, the neighboring house was still uninhabited after the owner had passed away a few weeks prior. Felly states that whatever was captured here wasn't fully visible to the human eye, and the creepy details only surfaced after rewatching the footage on the phone. a creepy face is staring at him from the upper part of the door window, and then it just vanishes into thin air. Felly even checked after that to make sure that it was no intruder, and he could find nothing. Do you believe that this could have been the former owner, perhaps? The young man also goes to say that this was not the only really weird incident on this piece of land. Only the first that he could capture on camera. Interesting. Clara NS, a TikTok user from Germany, realized that the strange face was peeking out of a neighboring house just across the fence. It clearly was not belonging to any of the people who lived there. The question is, does this face belong to a person living in the house, or is it something completely different? This gets even more interesting a couple of days later. Good thing I speak German.
Warte Leute, ich wollte gerade drehen, wieder das Haus, wo die zwei Augen sind. Und dort unten steht einfach ein Typ und schaut mich zu. Das ist gruselig. Ah.
Now the same face popped up again days after. The dude in front of the house, I don't think he had anything to do with it though. Were the eyes paranormal related? I couldn't say. The following video was recorded by a paranormal enthusiast from Mexico and shared on his very own channel, Scariest. He was out exploring a cemetery all by himself that night, and the video in question was recorded shortly before dawn. The man was initially a bit disappointed since he didn't really come across anything noteworthy that night, but after getting home and reviewing all of his footage, he realized that something was perhaps standing just meters away from him.
No sé, estoy solo, totalmente solo, y me vale madre lo que piensa la gente, pero sí, aquí estamos.
A dark shadow entity seems to be standing right in front of him by a grave. Carr swore that nobody else was there, at least as far as he could tell. And why would that person stand in pitch darkness anyway? So, did he capture a spirit here? A ghostly visitor? Or how else do we explain this black silhouette? Very unsettling. The following recordings stem from May 2020, and they were captured by a young man who was out on the streets with his friends. The quarantine was just loosened a bit, and they were happy to spend some time together. However, something terrifying was about to unfold. One of the guys sees an eerie figure in the distance, and he swears that it was talking to them. And it's especially weird, because it was already pretty late, and they did not notice anybody else around at the time. Let's take a look.
No, that was like a young person.
I mean, after all, it is quarantine. Like,
We're getting the out of here right now. I'm dead serious. This is freaking me the out.
that
Lens
doesn't
right in front of my. Dude, I'm actually freaking out. Dude, I'm gonna. Dude, it gets more.
That thing looks like it's looking right at us like this. That's what's meant to do. Look at it.
What the? Every time I move closer, it looks more and more like a figurine. I did not see that when we passed. Dude, okay. You know, yeah.
And then, according to the guys, this figure just vanished into thin air.
Nah, do that. This way.
It reappeared again moments after, but this was where the recording ended. So let's think about this for a second. This apparition looks like a little boy, but what would a boy do there alone at night? If this isn't just a fun skit played out by the man, what did they come across here? It certainly mimics the voice of a child. Listen closely.
Young person.
I mean, after all, it is quarantine. Like,
Terrifying, isn't it? Now we want to take a look at an update from paranormal enthusiast Signs and Signals. In the past, they had traveled to an old haunted church one night, and they came across a really creepy looking shadow person peeking from behind the corner. Almost a year later, they venture out to the same church to see if whatever was visiting them that night still remains in there. And it didn't take long until really weird things started to unfold.
Bro. See, I don't went through all this before. Nah, we just need to stop coming back here, man. Okay. Nah, I'm good.
Poltergeist activity is a common sign for a strong otherworldly presence. Apparently this church was also home to several rituals that people conducted in the past. A bit later, they captured this.
We've seen you in here before. We know that you're in here. And you know that we know that you're in here.
So why are you here?
Was this the infamous shadow from the past? Who knows, but it got even a little bit more creepy.
Let's just go into the main area.
Yeah, go see
It
where
always shows itself whenever we go in there.
you heard the voice. Was it from like out here? It wasn't from back here. It's from...
It sounded like it was from somewhere else in here. It wasn't like in the hall.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, that's what I'm saying. It's just gonna run over there. That's what you don't care.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
David!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
After something was seemingly running at them, they come across this shadow just sitting there and watching them. Was it perhaps playing tricks on them? It is very likely. I invite you to check their whole investigation out on Signs and Signals.